I came across this unusual setup at the base of a hiking trail in a park. Three identical wooden poles, each standing about mid-thigh height, arranged around a central concrete circle. Hanging from each pole is a chain, but there are no clips or attachments to suggest their purpose. I have no idea what this could be. Any thoughts? It's a metal trash receptacle designed for bear country, though it seems like the bear came out victorious this time. These pipes are located between the property lines of two homes, right where a fence once stood. They appear to be multiple PVC pipes protruding from the ground, standing about 3 feet tall. Positioned in the backyard near a river, they don't seem to have any moving parts. Any idea what they might be? It's a homemade kayak or stand-up paddleboard rack. I picked this up at a flea market, but the seller had no explanation for it. It stands 1.5 centimeters tall and has no markings except for a 2 on the inner side of the legs. It can stand upright, but I have no clue what purpose these scissors or tongs might serve. Any ideas? I found similar items by searching for stork clamp. One site described it as, this tool was used by midwives in the 1800s into turn of the century to clamp the umbilical cords when delivering a baby. Now it has a modern use in sewing for ribbon pulling. Another site said midwives would use it to tie off the umbilical cord of a newborn baby. This wooden item was found in a 100-plus-year-old barn on a farm in Minnesota. It has no moving parts, but there is metal hardware attached to the top, possibly for threading something through. It measures 2 feet tall, 5 inches wide, and 4 inches deep. The bottom section features 24 round holes, each containing 2 smaller carved-out circles within them. There is some faded writing on the top and bottom, possibly reading "Made Ons." It also has 2 metal handles on each end. Any ideas on what this could have been used for? It is a rack for Babcock bottles. Back in the day, this was how you determined which cows were giving high butterfat milk and which were future hamburgers. My friend bought this from a recycling center in Australia. It's made of plywood and what feels like steel or cast aluminum, though it might be too heavy for aluminum. It's in fairly good condition, so it's probably not an antique tool. It seems like it could be a woodworking tool, but it's nothing I recognize. The bottom of the plywood has feet and possibly locking lugs. The entire piece is about 40 centimeters long and features a fence and a steel gate, both of which appear to be adjustable by angle and height. Any ideas on what this might be? It's a miter box for cutting at more or less precise angles. A small metal figurine of a donkey or horse measuring approximately 5 to 7 centimeters in height. There are no broken or sharp edges, so it doesn't seem to be a broken part of something. The metal has a yellowish tone, possibly brass. It's not too heavy, but not very light either, likely weighing around 50 to 70 grams. Any ideas on what it might have been used for? It could be a broken spoon that's missing its bowl. I haven't found an exact match on Google, but it resembles a souvenir spoon with a forked attachment point, similar to what I have in mind. I found this wooden object in an old toolbox from Minnesota and suspect it might be fishing related. Along with it, I discovered 2 metal rods that fit into the holes in the wooden block, though I'm not sure if they are actually connected. Wooden block description: solid rectangular block, no moving parts. Lightweight, under 4 ounces. Wood tone with an engraving. Berger Brothers. Dimensions: 10/11/16, L, X 1/9/16, W, X 13/16, H metal rods. Description: 2 round metal rods with flat ends. Likely aluminum, lightweight length, 9 inches, diameter, 5/16. Coated with white paint and film except for one. 3/16 at one end. I'm curious. What could this wooden block with holes be used for? And do the metal rods have anything to do with it? Any insights? It's a knife sharpener. The rods are ceramic and fit into the holes to form a V shape for sharpening blades. My grandfather used it as a paperweight. It weighs 3 pounds, 4.4 ounces, about 1.49 kilograms, and stands roughly the height of a coffee cup, though it's more slender. I'm not very familiar with screws, but the only part that seems to move or could be detachable is the bottom lip near the screw threads. Does anyone know what it is? It is used as a crimp for wires. You put 2 or more wires in the slot, screw the nut down, and it puts pressure on them. From that point, you would wrap it in black electrical tape. While sorting through my late grandmother's belongings, my family came across this intriguing copper dish, but none of us know its purpose. The dish itself measures 6 inches long and 2 inches high, with an overall length of 8.5 inches, including the handle. It's entirely made of copper, except for the handle, which is wrapped in leather. Does anyone know what this dish might have been used for? It's a vintage candy dish, likely designed to hold small sweets or treats in an elegant way. I found this box while clearing out old belongings. The newspaper used as packing material inside is from 1950, so the box is at least that old. The straps, corner reinforcements, hinges, hooks, and fittings are all solid brass, non-magnetic, indicating high-quality craftsmanship. It's approximately 20 by 10 by 5 inches, similar in size to a large briefcase. The construction is exceptional, with flush sides, no warping, and perfectly aligned brass straps. Despite this, it was simply used to store miscellaneous items, rather than being treated as a treasured antique. The front lock is designed for a simple, old one-tooth key, similar to a handcuff key. Inside, there are silver-colored aluminum plates, likely intended for dividers and a tray, which are now missing. Markings include stamped SB1162 on the side hook cutout 1162 HSD, embossed on the inner rim, right front, 1915, embossed on the inner rim, left front. There were once painted or printed inscriptions above and below the center strap on top, but these were sanded off decades ago. I plan to keep and repurpose it, perhaps by adding a handle to make it a briefcase, but I'd love to know its original purpose and history. Any insights? This was found in a British school, installed sometime before 1980, with multiple units mounted in the hallways. No one at the school knows what they are or what they were used for, and there's no documented history behind them. They sit at approximately waist height, but beyond that, their purpose remains a mystery. I've spent several days with others trying to figure it out, and our best guess is that they were meant to hold something, perhaps a bell or tokens. However, given their widespread placement throughout the hallways and even historians being unsure, we're completely stumped. Any ideas?